allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So if everybody's had a chance to look at the minutes, can I get a motion to accept the minutes as distributed?
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No abstentions? Motion passed. Citizens' comments. Do we have any citizens' comments tonight? Ms. Clark? Here they are. You're our only citizen tonight.
I have nothing tonight.
Okay. No citizens' comments.
I'll save up for next one.
Okay. Town board comments. We'll start with you, Mr. Moore.
I just want to thank people for coming tonight. Thank you for watching. And other than that, I'd like to go on with the
Thank the
agenda.
person for coming.
We have two, I guess.
That's right.
Technically, we have two.
We'll speed things along and no comment.
Okay.
Same with me, no comment.
The only thing I have to say is, we're almost into March, and hopefully spring's around the corner.
I saw a robin in my yard yesterday.
Is that the guarantee, Tony? Is
That's
that
the guarantee.
okay?
So if you come, we'll blame you, right?
That's it for me.
Okay.
Very smart birds, don't
So tonight we have our new comptroller, Ms. Jennifer Fricano. So if you could pan over and get Ms. Fricano on there. So if you come into the office, you can see her. So she'll be starting on the 22nd, and we're happy to have you aboard.
Welcome.
That's all I have. We'll start with the department head reports. So, Mr. Rivzigno. Mr. Merrill?
Next. Ash trees are gone, stumps are gone, just some cleanup left. So hopefully, once the snow is gone, they can get in there, so maybe next week they can do. It's just really pretty much hand breaking and cleanup left. Probably 90+% of the trees on the house property are gone. It really changes the look of that park now. It's going to be awesome once it's all gone and the field is in and we can start using it. But yeah, it changes the visual appearance driving into that park now.
They haven't taken down the house yet.
No.
That should be soon, though.
We're hoping and thinking yesterday or today, he was hoping for warmer weather, but now he's talking next week, so.
Can I ask you a question on the trees?
Sure.
I drove by and good job. Do you have money in your budget for tree replacements?
No, I didn't put any in there.
You sure? I thought we put some money in there, maybe.
Not last year. I don't think we did.
Not past budget, no.
Well, keep that in mind for the 23 budget then.
Yeah, I'll keep some tree replacement money.
Yeah, I think we need to, I'm kind of embarrassed that I didn't remember to do that, but yeah, we should be plugging along and buying trees. Maybe not a lot, but just a few
No,
every year.
I would say, there's not, once the field goes in and, we got some parking lot work that's future work to be done too. We'll just kind of see what's left for room for trees and absolutely.
Do we have a plan for how we're going to build that out? I mean, is there a drawing
For field or?
Yeah, for taking that house out, going back to what Bob was talking about, trees. I mean, I haven't seen anything on it, and that's fine.
Right.
But, do we even know, do you know what your layout is intended to be?
Al and I, we could probably put something together and print out.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm just, it goes back to what Bob was saying. Bob definitely knows more about trees than probably anybody here, about picking trees that might be good for shading off field areas and things like that, so. I just haven't seen, I know we're talking about putting fields there, I haven't seen anything formal like a
I'm
concept.
perfectly honest, we haven't even looked at trees yet. At this stage of the game, my consideration with fields and trees is get as much sun on them as you can and get them dry so that they can be played on as much as possible. Trees just slow down that process to some degree if the part of the field is shaded.
Right, but if we've got a,
If you want to put
30-yard
something on the
open
north
area.
side, or, if
Yeah.
you want to put something on the north side or something like that, okay, just try to keep the south side and the east and west sides clear, so we're unfortunately the north side between the existing Spence field and the new field, so we'd be shading the Spence field, so we did
And-
everything we want to do it along.
We have a lot of construction that we're doing in there too. I mean, once we get all through, we want to take a look, because we're talking about putting in, a new
Parking lot extension.
parking lot extension, the fitness center area, the fields. So I think once we get some of that area cleaned out and we move along with that, and see how much money we have, then we can maybe come up with some sort of rendering of what it's going to look like in the future.
What about Lysa? Any of them contact you? And UIL?
I've been
For-
in contact with all of them as far as, so far getting back to me. I've got devices, requests, strikers, soccer shots.
Seen people from last year.
Yeah, I would, we don't really have the space and the available time within a week to add really new organizations.
No, none. Yeah.
So, the new field space, which technically will get 2 practice fields out of it, will open things up a lot more. But right now, all I've done is reach out to those who would be returning organizations. And I'm just waiting for their responses back. I've reached out and said, this is pretty much the time for them to start getting their requests in for field time. And so.
Well, just the parking alone, how much more can we handle? We're at max capacity right now.
We're already.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, right. There's no additional people.
No.
I was just wondering if they would, obviously with COVID restrictions lessening,
Right.
that they would
Right.
continue.
They're starting to
Good.
reach out, which is good, so. The last thing I got is just finally, Dina's been a big help, and Paige with Syracuse Technologies, and Chris with Cowley, right? I got the parks page of our website kind of revised and cleaned up. The big part I got on there, as all of you have seen, I sent out to you, the calendar. So the public now can check the calendar. It's pretty clean and simple process. And documents are on there. They're PDF fillable documents, so I'm glad that you finally got it to work.
I was very impressed with what you did.
Thank you.
And you fixed, and you're able to take care of that one item.
Yeah. I don't know how or what, I didn't do anything. You went out the second time and it worked. So, but they are PDF fillable documents, so one has to have more or less a PDF reader on their device. So I have found that pretty much if somebody's opening the calendar or the documents to fill them in with their computer.
You should put a link to a PDF reader, like a free version, in case they don't have one.
I'll look into that and see if it's something that can be an automatic,
Yeah.
something download, because the only issue I had in trying it on a tablet and on my phone is if you don't have a PDF reader already installed.
Yeah, it's different on an iOS
It
device.
just opens up the PDF, it opens up the document, but it doesn't have any of those fillable fields,
Yeah.
so, and, then if somebody doesn't know, they don't know to download a PDF reader, them to them, it just looks like a blank document that they have to print off. So that's the only, but I had thought about that and just got to look further into, having some kind of a link to a PDF reader. So, that's all I got. Welcome, gentlemen.
Nothing for me. Pretty good.
That's it?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go to an executive session, so I'm going to want you to stick around for that. Mr. Yeager, why don't you?
Last meetings now?
Yes.
So the village of Phoenix notified us that they thought they were being underpaid for sewer usage in the West Phoenix sewer district. Reviewed the district boundaries with help from the assessor's office. The district boundaries are correct. Reviewed the latest voucher that was paid to the village for sewer usage, and it appears that of the 43 houses or 43 parcels with houses on them within the district, we're only paying the village for 30 parcels. And it looks like that's been going on for a long time.
Since the early 90s.
Like since the district was established in '91. We are working with we requested a proposal from Bonadeo Group to audit that district. We have to make, the village wants to be made whole. I told them that we could go back a maximum of 7 years because that's what our records go to, and we could, come up with that number by having Bonadeo Group audit that district. Going forward, in addition to this discovery, our existing agreement with them expires at the end of this quarter. I proposed a new agreement to the village where we would essentially structure just like we do our water district leases with the village of Baldwinsville. So the village of Phoenix will be in charge of all maintenance of the district going forward at a rate, tax rate that's decided and is linked in some way to the village sewer district fee. The village of Phoenix would take over all billing. Any unpaid bills, the village would remit to the town. At the end of the year, we would put on the homeowner's tax bill and reimburse the village. This just cleans it up, so we're not dealing with multiple organizations. And essentially we'll take the sewer district tax down to zero unless we have to do a major capital improvement or something like that. There is no debt service in that district currently. So we'll keep you posted as we get the numbers back from Bonadeo Group. Tony and I are going to meet with the village administrator and attorney in the next couple of weeks and try to hammer out the deals for the use agreement extension or lease.
Any questions on that? Okay. Why don't you talk about the flood damage prevention update?
Sure. So New York State has mandated that we update our flood damage prevention law. We're adding a couple of firm panels that were added. The one being the update the Lomar F that we did over in Radisson, north of Deep Glade, to adjust that flood hazard area. And the other one being Collington Point East, aka Copper River, where the floodplain changed there by the rerouting of the water around the east side of that development. In addition to that, there was some suggested language. There was 3 pieces of the suggested language that I thought made sense for the town. They are outlined in the package that I gave you. They do help towards there's a local program administered through FEMA that can help people save on flood insurance if they have it, if we can score 500 points. Adopting these 3 pieces of, 3 amendments to the legislation gets us over halfway there to be into 500 points. Some additional changes in our codes office, and we can easily hit that 500 points, and anybody that gets flood insurance would get a 5% discount on their premium. So it's just something we can do to help our residents, and it makes us better prepared to deal with flooding and help minimize our potential for loss.
So this is not on the agenda though, so does it need to be on the agenda?
The next meeting, we will set a public hearing to adopt it. If everybody can please review it, just get back to me if you have any comments so that I can clean it up before we set a public hearing.
Okay. Ms. Golden, what do you have for us tonight?
Okay, good evening. There's a typo at the top of your assessor's report. It's not your only report. It says January to December 2022. This is the first report for the year, not the only report. All of our exemption renewals for the 2022 assessment roll have been mailed, and we sent reminder postcards to people that have yet to do their renewal applications. They are being processed and updated as they are received, and the deadline for exemption applications or renewals is always March 1st. The governor suspended the renewal requirement for the senior citizen and disability exemptions for 2022. You may recall last year, because of the pandemic, the governor suspended those renewal requirements. That was mandatory. Towns did not have the option to yay or nay that. This year, they were by local option, and because they did this in December and our renewals were already sent in September with the majority of them already returned and processed, it was decided that we did not need that local option to suspend that renewal. Inventory changes for 2022 are being entered as building permits are completed, with a final field review of building permits scheduled for the late February and March as well as permits. The reassessment plan for the 2022 assessment roll has been completed and submitted to the Office of Real Property Tax Services for their review and approval. This included a plan narrative, step-by-step, commercial sales and the subjects spreadsheet, and version 4 reports for documentation. Our reappraisal work for this year includes all residential properties will be either reappraised individually or trended up. A total of 115 commercial properties will be reappraised and assessments changed as indicated. All vacant land assessed higher than $15,000 will also be trended up. And that $15,000 minimum is there, and that eliminates landlocked parcels, very small parcels that have very little value, wetland parcels, things like that. So by not trending below that 15,000 mark, we shouldn't have any problem with that. County trends for this year, and these are increases from 2021 to 2022. In the county, residential properties went up between 6% and 15%. Commercial properties are up 3%, and vacant land is up 7%. Our preliminary assessment notices are scheduled to be mailed in mid-March, with informal meetings with the assessor scheduled in late March and through April. This year, as long as the pandemic stays quiet, we hope to offer a choice of in-person or by phone meetings, and we're going to offer those in blocks, so if the morning is in person and the afternoon is by phone, and they'll swap back and forth. I also think to eliminate the traffic in the office space, I'm going to use the small group room in the back. There's a larger area, there's more room for social distancing, so that is the plan. Attached to your report is a continuing education report, and this is the second time in more than 20 years I have a warning on my continuing education report, because I did not have 12 credits last year. In the year 19 to 20, the governor suspended the requirement because of the pandemic. Unfortunately, the pandemic went a little longer than that, but the suspension was only for 1 year. And because of vacation conflict, in July for the Cornell seminar, I wasn't able to go. And my dad being ill and in the hospital in September, I wasn't able to attend the fall conference either, which were basically my only two choices for the year. So I have already plan to go to Cornell in July. I have no vacation conflicts with any of my staff this year. And I will submit for approval once I have the class schedule and I know what I'm going to be taking for the week. So, questions?
Oh,
The class that you're taking, that'll bring you up to,
Well, Plan A is to go to Cornell for the week. That will give me 24 credits, which is actually 2 years worth of class. The problem is, after you've done this a while, they won't pay for you to take the same things over and over. You gotta try to do some new stuff. So Plan A is to take either a full week class or two half-week classes at Cornell in July. The fall conference is in Lake George. That's Plan B. And that is also 12 credits if you go to that and stay the entire time. So,
So you'll
and then I'll be back in the good graces of the state.
thank you. All right. Thanks. Town clerk,
Yes, I
anything
do
tonight?
have something. So last year, the town board approved 2 traffic studies. One is for the Lamson Road Route 48 area, and the other one is for Deep Glade Drive. And so we received a response from the Department of Transportation on January 25th, 2022, and I provided copies to the board as well. And I will be putting this on the website. And I'm just going to just do kind of a synopsis of what they said, because some people keep track of the speed studies. And there have been quite a few done on Deep Glade. So this is in further response to your completed TE 9A forms requesting a speed limit reduction on Lamson Road from a half-mile west of State Route 48 to the beginning of the bridge in Phoenix, and an area speed reduction for Deep Glade Drive and Drake's Landing Road in the town of Lysander. New York State DOT engineers have completed their investigations and determined that lowering the speed on Lamson Road to 45 miles per hour from 0.10 mile west of Pendergast Road to Chatham Woods Drive would be appropriate at this time. Upon receipt of the official order, the town may install the signage to implement the lower speed limit. And our highway superintendent advised me that this is a county road, so the county will be putting up the correct signage. NYS DOT engineers reviewed the crash history at Deep Glade Drive and Drake's Landing Road, documented field conditions, and performed multiple test drives at various speeds along these routes. During these test drives, the engineers evaluated the reactions of other motorists on the road, as well as documented if they were able to maintain that speed based on the geometry of the road, development density, and pedestrian activity. It was determined that the appropriate speed is the existing speed limit of 45 miles per hour, which would be considered the prevailing free flow speed at which the majority of drivers are driving. Drivers are influenced more by the appearance of the highway and prevailing traffic speeds rather than a posted speed limit. Setting the speed limit at the prevailing free flow speed decreases conflicts, minimizes crashes, and makes it easier for vehicles and pedestrians to judge the speed of approaching vehicles. Based on our field visit, we would like to provide the town with some recommendations that will help to slow traffic speeds and increase compliance. The first recommendation is for the town to install the missing 45 miles per hour speed limit sign on Drake's Landing Road by Stanford Drive in the southbound direction where the 30 mile per hour speed limit changes to 45 miles per hour. Second is to replace the vandalized 45 miles per hour sign on Deep Glade Drive in the eastbound direction. The last recommendation is to install center line and line pavement markings on both roadways, Deep Glade Drive and Drake's Landing Road, to help delineate the lanes and the shoulders. That's basically it. And I also CC'd Lynn Tanner of Radisson on this as well, so she knows the status of these.
So who's going to notify the county? Are they
I
going
already did.
Oh, you already did? Okay.
As I say, the county takes care of Lamson Road.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So by reading this, there's nothing we can do about it, but they only are going to reduce the speed on a small section of Lamson Road, not the entire thing that was looked at. Because a half mile west of 48, that's got to go almost halfway to Dingle Hole Road. So,
And it usually takes, just to let you know, it usually takes about a year to perform a speed study, and they have to do it while school is in session because they take into account the buses, the traffic, and all that, those kind of things. So considering that there wasn't school in a certain amount of time because of COVID and everything that happened, they got this done relatively quickly.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you.
I just had a question about the suggestions for deep glade and drakes on the delineators and the, striping the sides of the roads. Is that something that are we gonna do that?
We haven't discussed it. It's something that we could look into.
It's actually, so pavement markings and signs are paid for out of the general fund. So that is a town board decision to make, that piece of it.
Well, I'd like our highway superintendent to take a look at it and see if, we should do it.
The vandalized sign was replaced. The two that they asked to be posted are currently in snowbanks, so when that clears, those will be showing up. But yeah, we can look at putting the lines on it, and if they're comfortable with 45 miles an hour and the people that travel that road are used to it, I'm not sure what the delineators would gain other than maybe seeing the road when it's rainy or snowy. But yeah, we can do it. We can look into it.
Let's look at it.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. We'll move on to the regular agenda items. May I have a motion to allow the town supervisor to sign the affiliation agreement with SUNY Cortland to establish the Lysander Parks and Recreation Department as an internship site affiliate.
I'll move that.
I'll second. Any discussion?
I just had a question about it. Could you fill us in? Is this like an internship, or how does this work?
That allows me to work with SUNY Cortland to either request interns or be considered by students as an internship site, or it would allow faculty from SUNY Cortland, if they've got a student that's looking for an internship site, with that affiliation, faculty can steer students towards my department.
That's fine.
Yeah, the good thing about it is we don't have to pay those students. I mean, we did that I can't believe you didn't have it here before this.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know.
never
I mean,
had
it may have, but it may have been something that lapsed, so.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you're on top of
We're
it.
just starting new with SUNY Cortland.
Good.
I reached out to Brockport too, but haven't done anything.
So-
From Brockport.
Bob, I got a question for you. As the former county guy, kids get arrested, right? Normally they could do like 60 hours of community service, and that would be done at a town park, let's say. How do we get some of those kids to help over, or is that not a good idea?
You going to supervise them?
I mean, I can't speak for Kevin in the town of Lysander, but every once in a while we would get people, and they were actually not kids. They were adults that came to us for community service. And, in the spring, there was always a cleanup job to be done. On
Right.
So on a case-by-case basis, you can deal with this. So
It did.
Did that help at all with any of the,
I had two separate occasions at Jamesville, during my tenure with the county, where I had community service individuals, both were adults. So they didn't require supervision at all. I mean, they came in, they saw me, I set them up. Both of them did, I think, like 2 weeks worth of community service. We had a lot of pick the tables being.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, hey, if we got a big project coming up or Brundage Road, let's get some community service people.
But you gotta have
The avenue to get your.
It's a case by case, and no, they came to, so wherever they were told to go, whatever court or judge told them to go, work it off in community service, they lived near Jingle
Right.
Beach.
Yeah.
So they came, hey, do you need some volunteer service? So if there is somebody in the town of Lysander or the village of Beeville or somebody that lives near Lysander Park where, it just would have to be the circumstances were right where they need community service, lived nearby, and thought of asking the park.
If I could just interject for 1 second.
Sure.
I'm being a former chief clerk for Town of Salina, and how it works is we would reach out to the courts and say, we're accepting people who have to do community service. And the court keeps a folder of all types of community service. So the judge would pull out and say, Town of Lysander has a spot open 30 hours. So we would reach out to courts around here, and then if that's something that you were interested in.
Yeah, that's what I was, so maybe it was, and Bob's been here at some point, either the county or county parks reached out and said we're available for.
Oh, why don't you just look into it?
So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's basically
Give it some consideration, because you don't have to take them.
Right.
Right. That's not a bad idea.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. I have a motion to allow the supervisor to sign the special event license of Willow Running USA LLC for the Earth Day Half Marathon on Sunday, April 24th, 2022.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. May I have a motion to authorize the town supervisor to sign the 2022 Canton Woods Agreement?
I'll move that.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Was there, I know in our email you had said Van Buren had an issue. Do you know what the issue was?
I don't know exactly what the issue was, but Mo from the village emailed me and she said, has Supervisor Wick signed the agreement yet? And I said no. And so I looked it up and I saw that Mr. Sykes hadn't signed it either. So I called Lynn and Van Buren, and she said that he had some issues with it, but the new supervisor cleared them up. And so she's going to be signing it.
Yeah, Supervisor Saban, and I've talked to her. So I think there was, whatever issue she had was going to be addressed in next year's contract.
Yeah. So
For this year, they were all set.
I just wanted to make sure Van Buren was on board with it.
Yeah, they're on board.
And if it's okay with you, I'd just like to put 2022 Canton Woods intermunicipal agreement in the motion, since it's, 3 are going to be signing it, 3 municipalities.
Oh, Canton Woods, okay. They're municipal.
Yeah,
Okay. I will add that.
thank you.
And Kevin, I'll just extend this offer to you. I sit on the Canton Woods Board, not to waste too much time tonight, but give me a call, give you a set of brains on the background of what's been going on.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I knew in Dina's email that they had, I just want to make sure Van Buren wasn't, no, we're not signing it.
Well, they did that for a while.
Yeah.
That one just recently got signed. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. May I have a motion to approve the transfer of funds from Parks 7020-400 in the amount of $500 to Building Equipment Computers 1620-201 for additional funds to purchase a laptop computer.
I'll move that.
But can we either table that or just cancel that one?
We can table that.
My IT department has advised me to go with a different computer, so.
Okay, then
No need to transfer funds.
at our Parks Director's request, we will table that motion. May I have a motion to appoint Jennifer Furcano as Town Comptroller with a salary of $85,000 at $40 a week, including benefits, with a start date of February 22nd, 2022.
I'll move it. I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? And Ms. Furcano's here, we're glad she came, and we'll And I, for one, will be happy to see you start on the 22nd. That's for sure. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. May I have a motion to authorize a public hearing to be held on Thursday, March 3rd, 2022, at 7 p.m. at the Lysander Town Hall to consider a local law to establish a fence law for the town of Lysander.
I'll move it.
Go ahead, Bob. I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. So I would like to go into executive session, move into executive session to talk about a specific employee's employment history. May I have a motion to move into executive session?
I'll move it.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we're moving into executive session at 7:36.